Hello, everybody, and hello, Nicole. I am Joanne Musa, the Tax Lien Lady. This is Ask the Tax Lien Lady Live, and I got it started a little late today because I got sidetracked. I was working on the new design for our website. So if you haven't been to taxlienlady.com lately, then go check it out. We've got a whole new design on the homepage. And we're working on the rest of it. So just the homepage has changed now, but you'll see it's a lot simpler. It's more modern. You know, I created this website years ago and haven't updated it. So, I mean, I've updated the content in the site, but I haven't updated the design. So we're doing that now, making it more modern. And hopefully it will still be easy to navigate. All right, because I hate that when I go to a website and it looks totally different and I don't know how to find what I used to be able to find. Well, there's a menu in the top, and we have simplified the menu. Instead of a whole bunch of things, there's just a few, and there's a couple of drop-down menus, but everything is still there. So if you can't find something, then look in the drop-down menus, and you'll find them there. Okay. So we have a free webinar coming up on Thursday, our tax sale success webinar. It's free to come live, and there will be a replay, but it will probably only be available for a day or two after we do the webinar. And that's because it's timely information. So it really doesn't do any good to leave the replay up longer, because we'll be talking about what's going on now as far as tax deed sales. That's what we're going to focus on, because there's not a lot of online tax lien sales going on right now. But there are a lot of online deed sales and online redeemable deed sales going on. You know, a few years ago, like only 6 years ago, there was only one redeemable deed sale online in one state. Okay, one state had one county with a redeemable deed sale online. Now there are, there's a handful of redeemable. I forget exactly how many, but I think there's about 5 or 6. Let's see, there's Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Connecticut has some online sales. I don't know if any of the redeemable deed sales are online, but maybe there's just 3. Maybe it is, and it would be Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee that have redeemable deed sales online. But you know what? Years ago, there were only a handful of states that had online deed sales, and now there are 12 states with online deed sales. So we're going to be talking about like what online deed sales are coming up. What's the difference between a deed and a redeemable deed? Which is right for you? How much money do you need? What are the steps that you have to follow? All right, we will be talking about that on the webinar Thursday night. The webinar will be 7 p.m. This Thursday, July 13th, and you can register for free. And Nicole has put the link for you to register in the comments. Thank you, Nicole. All right, so let me know what your questions are. When you come on, say hello, tell me what state you're in, and what are your questions for me today? I'm here to answer them. I do have one more announcement for you, though. While you're thinking about your questions for me today, the other announcement that I have is we have the webinar coming up on Thursday night, which I already told you about, and that's free. We also have a workshop coming up the following week. It starts Tuesday next week, okay? And the workshop is 80% off now, is the early bird pricing for the workshop. We just had something go out yesterday about that, if you're on my list, on my subscriber list. And we also, in the newsletter, our newsletter went out today, and there was something in the newsletter about that too. So if you want to get into that workshop, while it's 80% off, now would be a good time to do it. It's only going to be until Thursday, the early bird special, and then it will go up. It will probably double in price. The workshop has a value of $997. And right now you could get it for less than $200, okay? So now's the time to grab it. If you're a member of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator or a coaching client of mine, you don't have to buy the workshop because you get in for free. I do these workshops for my clients and I let everybody else pay to join, okay? All right, so those are my announcements for you. And Nicole has also put the link in the comments for the workshop. All right, so let me know, say hello, let me know where you're coming in from so that I know how to answer your question. And give me your question. What is your biggest question when it comes to investing? All right, so Mark has a question. He is asking, have you ever dealt with property owner that has filed for bankruptcy, and how does it affect in any way when your strategy is to get the property, not the interest, especially after the redemption period? And Mark, you have to let me know what state. All right, I have dealt with this in New Jersey, but if you're investing in New Jersey, New Jersey is a tax lien state. It's not a way to get the property. Doesn't matter if you deal with bankruptcy or not, you're probably not going to get the property in New Jersey because it's a tax lien state. And 99% of the time, your liens are going to redeem. Okay, 99% of the time. But let me know what state you're in, Mark, and I'll be able to answer that question for you. Because I have dealt with bankruptcy, but here's the bottom line. I can tell you what happens in New Jersey. When somebody files bankruptcy, it goes to a bankruptcy court, and you have to file with the court. Okay, you have to get notice. If you are a tax lien holder, you get notice of the bankruptcy. In the notice, it tells you that you have to make a claim to the court. But I will tell you, this happened once to me, and it didn't matter. The lien redeemed anyway. I'll tell you what happened in that situation, and this is what I found out happens in a lot of situations. When somebody goes into bankruptcy, they have to make payments. They have to agree to certain things. And if they don't follow through, the bankruptcy gets thrown out. And that happens in a lot of cases. In this case, either that happened or the bank decided to play nice with the people who went bankrupt. Because I think what happened in this situation is the owners were trying to do they were trying to do a short sale, and the bank wouldn't play. In other words, the bank wouldn't take the money for the short sale. They wouldn't agree to it. So they filed bankruptcy. And then all of a sudden, the bankruptcy got thrown out anyway. But what happens is that if the bankruptcy doesn't get thrown out, you do have time to make that claim. You want to, what I was told by a tax collector in New Jersey, and he was a retired tax collector in New Jersey, he said to wait 30 days before I do anything. And in that 30 days, like I said, the bankruptcy got thrown out or something happened. It was no longer. And the lien redeemed. That's what happened. Okay. So, but if that didn't happen, what I would have to do is put my claim into the bankruptcy court. And he told me to wait 30 days because I had time before the court date. You have to put your claim in it by a certain time. And I had a lot of time to do it. And he said, well, wait 30 days and then do it, because I think I had like 60 days before the court date, something like that. All right. So have you been, let me ask you this, Mark, have you been given notice that your property that you have a lien on went into bankruptcy? And again, I'm still asking, what state are you talking about? Because it is different in different states. And in most lien states, even if something goes into bankruptcy and you have to, what happens is, let's say you're in foreclosure or you're ready to foreclose and somebody goes into bankruptcy. Well, then you have to wait. That not only do you have to put a claim into the bankruptcy court, but you can't foreclose until after the bankruptcy stay is over, all right? Because what happens when a property goes into bankruptcy, there's a stay, a bankruptcy stay, which means you cannot foreclose on the property during that time. You can't, you can't make any judgments or new liens or anything like that on the owners of the property at the time of the bankruptcy stay. You have to wait until that's over, and that could take 7 years, right? So you might have to wait until you can foreclose. You also, once you do your application to the court, you might have to take less interest than you're owed as part of the bankruptcy agreement. The court will determine that, right? But you will still be able to have your lien satisfied. It might not be as soon as you want. You may or may not be able to get the property once you wait that stay. All right, so we have a couple of other questions. Lucien is asking, how long is the foreclosure process in New Jersey? That depends on the property. Totally depends on the property on how long it takes. I haven't actually gone through the total process, but I've started it, and then I've assigned my lien to another investor who continued with the process and did get final judgment on one of the properties that I had. And that is the only property that actually got foreclosed that I know of, that I got in a, excuse me, at a tax lien sale in New Jersey. And how long did it actually take? It takes a few months. It could take a year. I'd say longer than 6 months. Be somewhere between 6 months and a year, depending on the owners. And like if it's a situation where there's a lot of heirs, where the owner is deceased and there are a lot of heirs, there are a lot of people to notice, it could take longer, right? But the best person to ask that question to is an attorney, a tax lien attorney. Okay, they can give you a better answer. I'm not an attorney. I haven't had a lot of experience with doing foreclosures because, as I told you, in New Jersey, 99% of your liens are going to redeem. Okay, and Brandon is asking, say for instance, you purchase an OTC lien 6 months after the original auction. The county held the lien for 6 months with a 3-year redemption. Does that 3 years start at the time of the auction or at the time the actual lien was purchased from the county? Brandon, that is a state-specific question. And I don't do OTC liens because most of them are not valuable. And it's very hard to find, it's very hard to find a decent OTC lien. It's a very time-consuming process. It's not something I do, and it's not something I teach my clients how to do. And the thing is, in different states, there are different rules for the OTC liens than there are for the liens that you purchase at the sale. So normally it would be 3 years from the date that it went into the tax sale. But because it's an OTC lien, there might be different rules, and it depends on the state. Okay, and I'm not up on those rules because, as I said, OTC investing is not something that I do. All right. So if there are any other questions, put them in now. And I've got a very noisy cat. You can hear it. Maybe you can hear him in the background. Okay, so let me know if there's any other questions. If not, I will see you guys Tuesday in the Investing for Success group. I'll be doing a tax lien tip at 12 p.m. And then, I'm sorry, did I say Tuesday? Thursday. Today's Tuesday. Thursday at 12 p.m. in the Investing for Success group, I'll be doing a tax lien tip. And then Thursday night at 7 p.m. is our tax sale success webinar. It is free to register. Nicole has put that link in the comments for you. She's also put a link in for our workshop, which for you deed investors, we're really going to go into in-depth in the online deed sales that are happening now. So if you want to get a tax deed in the next few weeks, then you're going to want to be in this workshop, all right? Because we're going to go through what tax sales are coming up, what tax deed sales online are coming up, how to register and bid at these sales, which ones are the better ones. We'll be doing that in depth in the workshop. The workshop is the 18th, the 22nd, and the 25th. That's a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Tuesday. And that's to give you time in between to get the work done, right? This is a hands-on workshop, and I hope to see you there. All right, everybody. If we have no more questions, I'm going to end our call for today. Thank you for coming, and I will see you next time. We will be here next Tuesday at 2 p.m.